Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we are going to discuss about how we are going to create multi-tenancy in Laravel. So what is multi-tenancy? Multi-tenancy, it is an architecture where a single application serves multiple customers, meaning multiple tenants, while keeping their data completely separate. So in the last video of our complete inventory management system, we have also worked on the multi-tenant side, but the difference is that in that video we use the single database level, whereas in this video we are going to use multiple database level, meaning that each tenant will have the separate database. So the central admin panel, meaning the panel from which it controls all the tenant, will have its own database, and each tenant will have their own database. So let's start the video. Okay, before starting the video, I would like to thank you so much. I would like to take a moment to thank you guys for watching this video and for supporting me. Thank you so much for that. And besides that, if you prefer a written guide for this, I have also written an article on how to set up, right? And also I will provide the GitHub repository in this article, so you can also check out this article. I will put the link in the description below. So let's start. So for multi-tenancy, we are going to use the package tenancy for Laravel, right? Instantial tenancy. So I also highly recommend you guys to go through the documentation, explore it, because everything cannot be explained in the video, and documentation is itself a king. So you go through it. And okay, so there are two types of multi-tenancy, right? So single database tenancy, as we have worked in the last video, and multi-database tenancy, meaning each tenant will have its own database. So in this video we are going to discuss about multi-database tenancy. Perfect. So let's go through the installation process. So first of all, let me just quickly install the package, and then we need to run the tenancy install command. This command will create the migration file, config file, routes files. So we will explore each of them here. So if I go to so it created us tenancy file, tenant, service provider, as well as the migration file. So if you go here, you can check the tenant model, which model should be the tenant. By default it's the tenant. So let me first add my own tenant model, right? So now I will, instead of this, I want to use my own tenant model, because sometimes if we change anything, then it should we need to implement on this. So for this we will extend the base tenants, and since we are going to work for multi-database level, we need to implement with tenant with database, right? So after that we need to use two concerns here. First is has domains, and the second is has database, right? So this as domain gives us the relation for creating the different domains for each tenant. This is the trait we are going to use here. Perfect. So now after that we have the ID generator. ID means in the migration file we have a default ID generation process for that page. This is for domain, and the thing is here central domains. So if we are going to use multi-domain system, meaning that we have subdomain or like, so let me just show you. So this is my multi-tenant app.test, right? So like if I do app.multitenant.system, then it is my tenant, but for now this is my central domain. So this is the central domain, meaning the domain from where we will manage all the other domains. so I'll just add that here. And besides that, let's go through. These are all the bootstrappers, and this is the database config. Here is the another thing, prefix and suffix, mean it is for database level. So if we change the prefix, by default the database structure for tenant is this prefix and its ID, and then suffix, prefix, tenant ID, and suffix. So we can change that. Let us change it to multi-tenant for now. Perfect. So here are the managers. These are the things that we need to change. Besides that, you can check the config file from your side also. And here is the another thing. So whenever we create for the database level, so we have a new folder here, tenant. Tenant means for all those tenant we need, we will just keep everything on this page, inside the tenant page. Perfect. And the migration for tenant will also run from here. If we hit like php artisan tenants migrate command, then the migration file will be run for all the tenants, but they should be inside the tenant folder. And similarly for the seeders, whenever we use tenant seed, if you want anything, we have any seeders for tenant specific, meaning to all the tenants the same data should be there, then we can add the class here. Okay, so besides that, it creates us a routes tenant file. So this is the tenant page, and every routes for tenant will be here. And here if you see, we have two middlewares, initialize tenancy by domain. So by looking at the domain, it will initialize the tenancy as well as prevent access from central domain. These two domains are much more important. And since we are going to use filament in future, so we will not create any routes here, I think. So we'll check how we will handle all the routes from there. Okay, perfect. So besides that, we have a tenancy service provider, so we must need to add this here, otherwise it will not work. So we need to register the tenancy service provider in our app.php providers array. Perfect. And it has created some migration file. If you let us check it, tenants table where it has ID. So let me just add one. Next is name for now, let's say, and then domains timestamps, and there is the data. I will show you what are stored in the data by itself in the next few seconds. Okay, and besides that, we have a domain which is linked to tenant. So let me migrate the, yes, that's it, right? So now, since I added the custom column here, I need to go to my tenant model and say that I have a custom column. So you need to give me that. I think it's in the tenants. Yeah, here is the get custom columns. So I need to say it that, okay, name is my custom columns. So now let me create a seed class. Since we are not going to install or work on filament in this video, I'll just create a seed class and show you how the database is created. DB seed, let's say tenant seeder. Sorry, I need to use make seed. Yeah, so now here what I will do is I will first create a tenant create. I just need the name, right? Name is my first tenant, and then for that tenant I need to create the domains. I already show you the domains relation, right, which is coming from the as domain trait create, and we need to pass the domain here. Let's say domain is test. nothing else. Okay, let's try to check. Let me just run that class. Sorry, seed tenant seeder. Okay, I just get field id does not have a default value. Okay, app models tenant id and name. Yeah, here it is. So now if you check, my database name is multi-tenant, right? Let me show you my PSP my admin. So here it is, our multi-tenant, right? If we go to tenants, it's the id, it is generated by that UID, right? UUID generator, and here is the name. And if you see here, all the data are stored here. Database name, right? Created it, updated it. If you remember, we have used this as the prefix multi-tenant. If you go to tenancy and then the prefix, here is the multi-tenant. So now if I go here in the multi-tenant, this is my table. Currently I don't have anything, so let me quickly show you. Like if I just copy these users and let me just put it inside the tenant also. So now let me just since the domain must be unique, so it will not work for this domain. Let's just do test2 and let me run it. Now let me refresh this. If you see, now I have another tenant. Now like you can see the users table, it is now migrated. This is the central domain, central tenant, central application, and these are the domains. So now if I go here, so I use the, I think, test2, right? So now test2 dot, okay, tenant could not be identified on test2 dot multi-tenant app dot test. So I'm getting some error. Was it test2? I think I need to use the complete as a domain, but I just use test2, my bad. Let me go to domain and let me just replace this and refresh. Now here is the my tenant ID. So now from where it is coming, if you go to tenant, so here is the, this is your multi-tenancy, the ID of the current image. Now everything regarding the tenant, you can add the routes here, right? This is how we can configure this, the multi-tenant application. Hope you have understood it. So if you have any confusion, then you can comment down or directly email me. Thank you so much guys for watching this video.